Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Sawatdee ton chow. Can you afford to retire in Thailand? The brutal truth about money, visas, and the lifestyle in 2025. That's what we're going to talk about today. Not bad. Okay. Um, when most people imagine retiring in Thailand, they see the glossy brochures and the YouTube videos and everybody claiming it's perfect here and so great. They see the beaches, the street food, the cheap apartments, the smiling locals. It is the dream of escaping the grind back home. And for decades, Thailand has been one of the world's top expat retiree destinations, not to mention tourist destinations. But what doesn't make the brochure or the news or the YouTube videos most of the time is the paperwork, the visas, the exchange rate swings, which right now we're in the midst of one, and hopefully it'll go to where the dollar is a bit stronger against the baht. But right now I think we're at 31.78, which is below what I always like, which is at least 32, preferably 33. And if we're at 34 or 35, I'm golden, I'm fine. But right now we're at 31.78. And you know, the prices here have risen and expectations have shifted. You got rising medical costs, and also that the reality is that the Thailand of 2025, just like other places, is not the Thailand of 1995. It changes, things change, people change, places change. And you know, I've lived here for decades, but I've seen the whole spectrum. I was here when the baht was 55. I was here when the baht was 25. And so some guys come here with the plan, they live well and they thrive, and then there's others who they think Thailand is so cheap and it's this dreamland, this fantasy land that they can do anything and everything, and they crash and burn. Usually they crash and burn. There's a lot of guys that I knew when I first came here. Those guys are no longer around. And some, you know, some end up broke. Some end up just going, hey, it's a better choice for me to go home. Some end up sick, and then obviously, you know, the ones that fly home, well, for whatever reason, unless it is their own choice, like, hey, my contract's done, I want to go home. Okay, I get that. But all the other reasons, you know, it's like, what reason do they have other than they failed? I mean, you know, if you're sick, you didn't fail, but really, if you plan properly, you would be okay. If you're broke, If you plan properly, you would be okay. And this is why the conversation matters. And, I'm not here to sell you some dream. I never am. I'm not here to tell you this is fantasy land or paradise or utopia or whatever. It's just about giving you the hard numbers and the brutal truth so that you can decide for yourself if you can afford to retire here in Thailand. I get a lot of guys going, I'm going to have, I'm 32 and I'm going to have $1,200 a month. Can I make it there? Or, I've got a credit card that's got money on it and I've got $800 a month. Do you think I can live there? And, questions like that. And the bottom line is, if you don't have enough money or you don't have a way that you're going to be bringing in an income here, you're not going to make it. That's the bottom line. Anywhere in the world, you're not going to make it. I don't care if you're in Switzerland, Sweden, Vietnam. Oh, Vietnam is so great. Short-sighted. That's what the people are. So now, before we dive in, I kind of want to hear from you. What is your number? What is your number that you think you need to, in US dollars, what is your number that you think you need to live in Thailand comfortably, not where you're surviving, but you're actually living and you're living a good life? So put that in the chat right now. Oh, that's good. In case you don't know, I'm Scott and I am an American who's been living here in Thailand for 30 plus years. Please do me a favor. If you like this live stream, please click like. And if you have yet to subscribe, please do so. Hit the notification bell so that you'll stay updated on the upcoming live streams, the upcoming videos. And also, if you'd like to send me a quick question or you'd like a consultation, email me at anamericaninbangkok@gmail.com. Now, before I get into the gist of the stream, I got to quickly mention my book, which I've been doing lately, Expat Survival Guide 2025. Everything that we're talking about tonight, the visas, the cost of living, the banking, the scams, the nightlife, the healthcare, and the cultural mistakes, all of these things are in the book. And I write about it in fair detail. It's a 62-page PDF, and it's downloadable immediately. It's not a tourist guide. If you want you're only going to get the realities. You're not going to get the fluff. And, I wrote this is after 3 decades of living here. So I do know a thing or two. I don't know everything. I don't claim to know everything, but I do know a thing or two. And usually if I don't know it, I can figure it out. If you want the guide, grab a copy. It'll save you some time, some stress, some money. And there's a link below in the description. When the stream is done and the comments start to come in, there'll be a link in the comments, and there's a link in the chat already. Okay, the first thing we want to talk about is Thaksin. One of my least favorite political figures. He's now being forced to serve a real prison sentence after the Supreme Court ruled that a year in a private hospital suite does not count as jail. I could have told you that. For a man who I really believe the reason he came back because he figured he's just going to get off, nobody is going to touch him. He has been untouchable. And it's a humiliating turn, which I'm reveling in, and a clear sign that his old tricks no longer work. His fall isn't just personal, it's symbolic. The establishment is showing that even when the most powerful figures, even the most powerful figures can be pulled back down when they push the system too far. And I find it funny because his whole family's gone down. Yingluck, Peng Tongtan, and then him. They've all gone down. For the Putai party and the Shinawat family, who is still active in politics, this is a major blow. And his return was supposed to cement their influence, but guess what? Instead, it has exposed his dynasty's vulnerability. And I wouldn't put it past him to do something, and he'll come back, because the media always wants to know what he has to say. But I hope not. Pat Tong Tan's removal from the premiership and her father's incarceration within days of each other make the Shinawat brand look weaker than it has in decades, and the party now faces a stark choice. You evolve beyond the family's shadow, or you risk being dragged down with it as Thailand's political balance shifts. So that's something to think about. Now also, Charlie Kirk, if you don't know who he is, he's a commentator. He was shot and subsequently he died. I just don't understand these people. They don't like what somebody thinks or what somebody preaches or what somebody says, and you just kill them. Oh, well, we'll just kill you. To me, that's idiotic. Maybe what he says has a lot of, there's a lot of things in what he says that has merit. And maybe people should listen instead of just fighting back automatically because you're on that side and I'm on this side. Maybe what they really need to do is sit down and discuss things with him, and maybe they'll find out he's right, and maybe he'll find out that they have some elements of their discussion that are correct as well. I kind of doubt it sometimes, but that could happen. But to kill the guy, and he leaves behind a wife and 2 kids. Yeah, and the shooter hasn't been caught, and it's like, wait a minute. Why is it that the one side does it to the other, but the other side doesn't seem to ever do it to them? Because the people who we're talking about are irrational. A lot of them are irrational. Not all of them. I mean, some of them, they can go either way. They believe in their party, and that's fine. Everybody has a right to their choice in America. Now, we're not talking about in Thailand. We're talking about in America, which I don't usually get involved with. But to kill this guy, he was a young guy. He was 31, sharp as a whip. And you just kill him because you don't like what he's doing. I don't like that football player. I don't like that singer. I'm going to have to go out and, what is the point of that? Okay, now getting back to Thailand. Because we could go on and on about, what the right is doing to the left, what the left is doing to the right, what the middle's doing to everybody. I mean, we could go on and on about that. But I just wanted to tell you that Thailand's Department of Health has released data that for 2024, the total number of suicides in the country was 5,217, or 8.2 per 100,000 of the population. Now, this is the highest in Southeast Asia compared to the Philippines, 3.5, Cambodia, 4.5, and Vietnam, 7.3, amongst others. But Russia and India are worse, in both in double figures. However, they're in Asia, not necessarily Southeast Asia. So in real terms, there are about 2 suicides per hour in Thailand throughout the year. And these numbers have seemed to accelerate. 2020, there were 4,400 suicides. Hey, Jim, how you doing? 4,400 suicides in 2020. And, this is a subject that Thailand doesn't talk about very often. And it's important to recognize that the published data is generally very soft. Most academic research is taken from death certificates of the forensic registry system, and here the information can occasionally be ambiguous or fail to specify the results of the autopsy. And they may take something from a death certificate that says his heart stopped. Well, why did his heart stop? Did he die because he wanted to and he just said, hey, I'm gonna die? No, I don't think so. So it doesn't, this published data does not take into consideration the tally for foreigners either. And apparently foreigners amount to about 10% of the total in urban areas, so maybe 520 suicides a year. But that will be mainly concentrated in Bangkok and Pattaya. 4 in 5 suicides are male. Amongst Thais, there is a concentration among younger men, 20 to 29, who generally choose poisoning or shooting. The foreigners are mostly older men, 50 plus, with jumping from high buildings being the most common method. And there is no data on that, at least here in Thailand. Commenting on foreign suicides, Police Lieutenant Colonel Precha Natpadong said most suicides are just that. Accidents and murders are unusual in these circumstances. In Pattaya, for example, there is only one recorded example of a foreigner falling from a condo balcony being recorded as an accident. A drunk American at a party actually videoed in his own tomfoolery. Thai police are commonly accused of not properly investigating alleged suicides. There have been some complaints from relatives to embassies over the year, but Lieutenant Precha said that the key evidence was the autopsy report, together with checks on the room, examination of relevant video footage, and questioning members of staff. Most foreign cases are straightforward. If relatives want a second autopsy, that is their right. And Pattaya, of course. Pattaya has a particular reputation for sordid deaths. That's not what it's generally called, but local social media hacks gleefully claim the dead members as members of the Pattaya Flying Club, whilst tales abound of victims allegedly bound hand and foot with a tied plastic bag over their head, managing to die without third-party assistance. I find that difficult to believe, but at least 3 British newspapers now have dedicated Thailand websites, and at any rate, partly this is dependent on the Sin City horrors that take place, and Pattaya is constantly under a media spotlight for commercial reasons. Pattaya is under a media spotlight for one reason, because it's the sex capital of the world, supposedly. It's Sin City. Everybody knows why you go to Pattaya. Now, that is not true 100%. Of course, people go to Pattaya for various reasons. But some people, they go there to hit the bars, to hit up the ladies, and, so it gets a lot of attention. And the truth is much less sensational. A review of Pattaya media reports on the internet suggests there were 36 foreign suicides in the city in the first 6 months of 2024. A new internet report suggests 48 during the first half of 2025. However, the surge appears to have occurred amongst nationals of Russia, China, and South Korea, and their numbers have boomed post-COVID. Foreigner or Thai suicides, which are clearly a concern, but the evidence is still too thin to reach firm conclusion. So it tells me nothing. Okay, these reports are pretty much worthless. Let me go over and read these comments. 2,800, 22 to 25 probably. Well, we're not talking about someone else's lifestyle. We're talking about your own. 2,189 plus investment. Yeah, okay, I like that exact number. He'll pay somebody off. I'll believe it when I say it. Yeah, plus 2 million baht in the bank. Shooter hasn't been caught. Yeah, that was straight cold-blooded. The far left can't legitimately win any argument. R.I.P. Charlie Kirk. Yeah, I don't understand why they don't try to fight fair, but some people, they fight dirty, and that's the way it goes. Jim, I hope you're doing well and your projects are finishing up. I feel like most politicians are shit. I feel like all politicians are shit. I think in Thailand, since we're guests, it's best to keep your opinions to yourself. COVID and aftermath cost increased suicides worldwide. Good morning, Scott. Good morning. I thought she loved me. 100,000 invested. Okay, I don't need to know all this. I don't care. I don't care how much money you have. You can tell me you have 100 million and I'm going to go, okay, so I'm happy with my life. That's all that matters. You don't have to tell me how much you have so you can brag about it or bullshit about it. I don't believe all the Western older men suicides. If they were Asian, I'd believe it. It's more popular with Asians. Thailand is better at solving crimes picked up by CCTV. Yeah. I mean, they have so many CCTVs, and guess what? Somebody jumps, and then all of a sudden the CCTV is broken. I think of Colombia as being the largest brothel on the planet, although admittedly I've not been to Colombia or Thailand. If you haven't been to Colombia or Thailand, let me tell you something, you don't know anything. Thailand far exceeds Colombia. I've been to Colombia, I've been to Medellin, and I've lived in Thailand for a long time. And I'm going to tell you, Thailand smokes Colombia. In Colombia, yes, there are clubs that have working girls, but for the most part, you can meet the girls, and some of the girls might really be legitimately nice, kind girls. Girls that they just want a boyfriend. But many of them they're on the game. They want money, you know, and that's what they do. So they're kind of freelancers. But I'd say Thailand definitely it smokes Colombia. You know, I was in your area twice last week. Had appointments and scheduled them at 6 p.m. I drove down, sat in a chair for 30 minutes, drove back home. Sucked because of the intense rain. Yeah, it has been raining here a lot. I kind of like the rain because, you know, usually I'm inside. If it's raining, I'm inside. I've only gotten rained on a couple of times. I didn't have my umbrella with me. And actually, I want to buy a brand new big umbrella, but I haven't seen one yet that I like. But I'll be leaving in about 6 days. I'm out of here. And I'm looking forward to it. And I'm all set. I'm all ready to go. Everything's paid for pretty much. So I can't complain. Well, I'm not telling. I'm going to the south. That's what I'll say. I'm going to the south of Thailand. And I will let everybody know when the time comes. And the reason is because one of the places I'm going may not have internet access. I'm not sure yet. If it does, I will live stream from there and you will find out where I am. If it doesn't, you're not going to know until later on. And then the next place I go, I'll be able to live stream and I'll be able to tell you guys where I am, and you'll see it and you'll like it, and you know. That's how it goes. I spend a lot of time at the vet with my cat, Suey. She's now home healing. Yeah, I don't deal with my cats. That's my wife's job. That's my kid's job. You know, I don't do the dishes. My kids take my clothes to the laundry. And I don't deal with the cats. I don't clean the cat shit. I don't clean the cat vomit. I don't, well, I'll sit with them and pet them and stuff like that. But Nancy is a little too wild, and she'll actually scratch you and bite you, so I don't mess with her. Yeah, I'm going to Thailand. I love the rain, not driving up Mitropop during the deluge. My cat doesn't like the wet cat food she's being served lately. She's picky. You'll have access with your phone, bro. No, I won't. That's what I'm saying. I don't know that I will. I won't have any Wi-Fi. I can tell you that. So if I have any service, it will be 5G or 4G or 3G. But where I'm going, it's not like you think, okay? I'm visiting Argentina soon. There are a lot of expats saying they're living on $1,000 a month or less. Okay, so why do you want to live on $1,000? I mean, I understand if you got $10,000 a month coming in, but and you only want to spend 1,000. I understand that. But like, why do you want to go to a place where you have to live off of $800, $1,000? Because I can tell you that here in Thailand, you're not gonna. I mean, unless you're somebody who lives. I will make this caveat: if you live out in the country and you're living with your wife and your house is paid for, like, listen, the house in the south of Thailand, I think I'm just finishing up the video. It should be done by tomorrow, and I'll put it up for the members of the channel, and then it'll probably go live in a week or two after that. But if you live out in the middle of nowhere and you've got a house like we do, and you got a farm like we do that is generating money, okay, maybe you don't need, you know, $1,200, $1,500 a month. You pay, you know, $30 for the electric bill. You pay $2 for the water bill. You pay, what else would you pay? You pay for your food, and you pay for transportation, gas. Now, you also pay for a motorcycle if you didn't pay it all in full, or you pay for a car if you didn't pay it in full. But you know, if oh yeah, do we have espresso today? Oh, maybe we have espresso. She knows we do. We do, I know. Oh yes, we do. We have Classico also. I like the Classico. It's very good. I've been waiting for this coffee for more than a week. Oh no! Mayมี espresso! Mayมีที่นี่เหรอ? จริงเหรอ? Well, I'll take the Classico. No espresso, I take Classico. All right. So now I have my coffee coming. Uruguay looks good too. Brazil, no thank you. Some people don't have the money. Gotta make it. Staying in the States is foolish. I understand that, but I think there are better places to live than where a lot of people live. I've only been to Ecuador and Peru, Argentina soon, Gabe, but Uruguay does look good too. I don't know. I would pass on Uruguay. Argentina, I would consider. However, I think it's in a tricky situation right now. And out of those places that you mentioned, I would choose Ecuador in a heartbeat. But anyway, let me continue. Let's see here. The myth of Thailand is that it is so dirt cheap. Thailand แพงไหม Thailand ก็แพง อยู่ที่นี่ก็แพงไหม อยู่ประเทศไทยก็แพงไหม ไม่แพง She says it's not expensive. But people think it's getting more expensive. It is cheaper, but it's not necessarily cheap. But if you compare it to New York or London or Sydney, then cheap is all relative. In the 1990s, you could rent a decent apartment for 3,000 baht, 3,500 baht. I did it. You could eat pad thai for 5 or 10 baht, believe that. And you could grab a beer for pocket change, and those days are long, long gone. Inflation, tourism, and development have pushed the costs up. Today, a small condo in Bangkok, you're lucky to find one for 10,000 baht. My friend had one that was 10,000 baht. And it was a studio that was divided up by a partition. And it was okay. It wasn't great. It was okay. It looked better than it really was. But generally, you're going to spend 15 to 25 or 30,000 baht on a nice apartment. Meals are now 60 to 100 baht. You're lucky if you can find one for 40. And nightlife can be more expensive than in the U.S. Believe that. You add in the girls, it can be more expensive than in the U.S. Now here's the kicker. People confuse possible with livable. possible. $1,000 is possible in Thailand, yes. Is it livable? Well, barely. You're surviving, and maybe if you're the kind who sits at home and reads books, watches TV, and you don't go out much, you don't do much, okay, yeah, it's possible. It's livable. You can survive on $600 a month if you're eating the cheapest food, living in a paid-for house, you're skipping health insurance, but that's not really retirement, that's poverty in paradise. And I guess if you have no other means, then I guess that's what you got to do. But I've met plenty of guys who they believe the hype and they bragged about living here for $800 a month. And 2 years later, they're borrowing money from people. Their health is deteriorating and they're stuck. So cheap living only works until the first crisis hits you. Now, we're talking about all these places in South America. Everybody wants to go there. I personally, there's probably 2 or 3 places in South America I would go, and Ecuador is one of those. Yeah, you're talking about Uruguay, but the environment, I don't think it's the most beautiful place. Its appeal kind of depends on your expectations and your preferences. I don't find it to be the most beautiful place, and honestly, I don't think Ecuador is the most beautiful place. But I think there is some elements of beauty, and if you stay in the right place, probably the same as Uruguay, then you're going to get somewhere that you like. Yeah, well, we're not talking about visiting. I mean, yeah, okay, great. You can visit. That's nice. Yeah, but Jim, I don't think you're pulling all kinds of girls out of there, and that's where it gets really expensive. You can live dirt cheap, but it will not be sustainable long term. Things will happen. You'll have larger expenditures. And, I'm here to tell you, as you get older, you will spend more money on health care. And, that's why I am trying my absolute best to be in the best shape that I can be. I mean, I'm talking about, I want to be in like fighting shape, which is, it might take me a year and a half to get in that kind of shape. I've already lost about 14 kilos. That's like more than 30 pounds. So that's almost 3 bags of rice, 3 5-kilo bags of rice. That's a lot. Hello. Okay. 210 บาทใช่ไหม Yes. 15 บาทก็ไม้เล็ก5 And I will pay for it in เวลาเสร็จนะ Let's see here. I buy a 25 pound bag of white rice. Yeah, so I've lost that and more. So I feel pretty good. But that's something you have to consider, is that the price of healthcare as you get older goes up. You want insurance, you got to pay. And then it's like, you better put aside money in case you need to be taken care of, and it doesn't pay. How did I lose the weight? Discipline. Extreme discipline. I don't eat any sugar now. The only thing, I have this in the morning. This is all I eat in the morning. I eat 2 meals a day. This may have a little sugar in it from the milk. And other than that, I don't really eat anything bad. How did it take you to eat that much rice? You're funny. You're funny. So anyway, that's something you have to consider. You got to consider dental care. You got to consider eye care. You got to consider that at some point you're going to need new clothes. You're going to have to go out and buy new clothes. You know. Mass kidney stone costs $120,000 at private hospital after surgery. I live cheap, but you got to have some money for health care. That is a must. And people don't understand it, especially when you're young. When you're young, you think you're invincible. Nothing's going to happen to you. Now, like my arm is just, I can't go to the gym and lift weights. Now, I can walk, but I can't lift weights, and my arm is in pain, and it may take me another 6 months to get better. So... No, Scotty eats very well. I will say that. I eat very, very well. I eat lamb, I eat beef, I eat salmon, I eat grouper, whitefish dory. I eat that. I eat a lot of vegetables. You know, a little bit of cheese, a lot of Greek yogurt, which really, that fills you up. Some oats. Yeah, some oats. A little bit of peanut butter, and that's about it, really. All right, so have you ever watched one of those I live in Thailand for $600 a month videos? What do you think? Is it realistic or is it nonsense? Please put your thoughts in the chat. I'm interested in finding out what you know. Now, obviously, like I said, there are... Is that your favorite strain? What? What are you... Dude, are you drunk? Favorite strain? Where is... What? Did he make another comment? No, he didn't. Dude, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Eat more carrots and walk more. I don't particularly like big carrots. I like little carrots. I like the baby carrots. I like baby corn, but I don't eat... I'll eat some baby carrots once in a while. Oh, God. I only see one message from Blue Dream. Okay? I don't know what the hell he's talking about. You're out there today, buddy. I don't see anything. I watched one years ago. They lived in a one-room apartment, mattress on the floor. I'd rather live outside. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. You got me, man. I got no idea. And it just goes to show you. I'm from the era when it was Thai stick, Colombian gold, Acapulco gold. That's when I used to smoke. And skunk weed was like the big thing. Now you got all these different kinds of weed. I don't even want to get involved with it now. And you know, I've had a little bit of that, and I just am like, I don't feel good from it. So what's the point? And actually now, you know, I have not really drank much in the past few years. Maybe a tequila once in a while, a couple shots of tequila or something like that, and maybe a couple glasses of wine. And now I'm thinking I'm just going to cut off everything. I'm not going to drink alcohol anymore. I don't have a problem with it. I'm not a drunk. I don't get nasty. There's nothing like it. I just want my body to be in as good of shape as I can be in. So, anyway, let me go on here. Nobody wrote anything about this. $2,000 is the least, and $3,000 is like paradise. I don't know about paradise. You know, red wine is good for you, but it's still alcohol, and I don't want to drink it. So let's talk of some numbers. Now, what I said was, if you live out in the middle of nowhere, and you're living in a place where you have a house that's paid for, or your house is like 3,000 baht, and you're paying minimal for the electric and water and your internet. And I mean, you know, some people, they don't have internet. Maybe they're using it on their phone. They may pay 750 baht on their phone for internet, and they can use that to connect to the internet with their computer or whatever. Maybe they don't have a reason to go on. Not everybody is consumed by phones, smartphones, and the internet. And quite frankly, I just said it. I got a video coming up. It's about scrolling and how people are always on the computer or on the internet, and how I deleted the apps off the front page of my phone because I don't want to have access to them all the time. So I'm like, what about this? What about that? I don't want to do that. These people are trying to get in. The door is locked, and they're trying to open the door up. They're like prying the door open. Okay, so I would say $600 isn't enough when you consider your visa, the health risks, your dental, your clothing, your vision. As you get older, that's nowhere near enough. And maybe you don't go back to the States or Australia or wherever you're going, and you're not paying for a ticket. Okay, I understand. Now, $800, maybe you can get by on that. Maybe you got more than enough money. You know, your wife's got a little motorcycle. You guys go out, and, you know, you don't have any kids, and the house is paid for, and all you do is buy food, and you're spending maybe, I know in Udon Thani, when I lived there, I mean, you could spend 150, 200 baht, and that would feed like 4 people. So 200 is plenty. 150, I mean, that's 4,500 a month for food. That's dirt cheap. And some people don't want health insurance, so I understand that. They're you know, they have enough for their visa, and they're living off of $800 a month. Now, if you're living in a big city, wherever it may be, and you know, I'm using Bangkok because I live in Bangkok, but I've lived in a few places, and I've been to a lot of big cities in Thailand, and I know that you need money. And if the thing about the money is, do you always want to eat Thai food? Do you always want to go to the grocery and buy the cheapest fish, the cheapest meat? Do you always want to go to Lotus and buy something that's 57 baht when you can go to the mall and you'll get a top-notch brand for 77 baht, for 20 baht more? Maybe you'll get really quality fish instead of going there and getting fish that's you know, it's up to you. It depends on what you can afford, obviously. But I would say the minimum now is between $1,200 and $1,500. That's the bare minimum. You have a studio or you have a small apartment. You get street food and you eat at the markets. You go to public hospitals, or maybe you pay as you go because you have some savings. And, you know, you might be stressed out about your visa. You might not have a budget for any travel or big emergencies. And you are surviving, but you are vulnerable. And, you know, the thing is to me, if you're never traveling, you just stay in one place all the time. It's boring. I'm sorry, I get bored. I've always been able to afford to take trips. Now, sometimes I'm cutting it close, but very easy. You know, I got to do it. That's just the way that it is. And in my head, if I didn't do it, I'd be like, okay, so now what do I do? I'd have to figure something else out. And I would, but I don't want to. I don't want to live off $1,000 a month. Now, if you want to be comfortable, you need anywhere from about 1,500, I would say up. 2,000, 2,500. Yeah. Dude, you're high on crack. $6,000 to $8,000 a month. You can live easily on that. That's not a question. There is no question you can live off of that. We're talking about the questionable gray zone of when people are surviving and when they're thriving, when they start to thrive. Well, 2/4 Korean. The bottom line is you're only living off of, most people only live off of nothing because they don't have much money. Hey Cyrus, how you doing? I'm doing good. Been drinking the last of your coffee because I got to get coffee from here, and it just came in. They didn't even get any espresso. They don't even have espresso beans. They have a nice espresso here, but they have this Classico. It's called Classico, and I just got it. So I'll be able to have your coffee, and I'll run out in a day or two, and then I'll be able to start drinking that. So I'm pretty happy about that. That's dirt cheap. Now, if you're single, you're not going to need as much as if you are married or you got a girlfriend that lives with you and you got to take care of her. Now, if your girlfriend makes money, then that's great. Yeah, but you got to understand something. Some people are like, why the hell do I want to live in Thailand? Why do I want to live in Thailand? What do I need in Thailand that I don't have at home? I make a lot of money, so I can pay for everything, even if it is expensive. What does it matter to me? That's how they think. And I understand it. Listen, if you got $8,000 as a nut and you're earning $15,000, what do you got to go to Thailand for? Why? Oh, well, my life is so much more relaxed. Well, if you're not working at home, you're going to be relaxed too. For the most part. Yeah, you live well on $2,000 a month. Okay, so, this is what I'm saying. $2,000 seems to be the comfortable area. And, it really depends on what lifestyle you want to live. But I would say anywhere from, 1,500 to 2,000 is kind of the area where you're like, okay, now you start to feel a little more secure and you start to feel less vulnerable. But if you have 70 to 90,000 baht now, you can get a decent condo or house. And this is why I tell my wife, I don't want to get a house. I don't want to move. As much as she wants to move, as much as I want to move, which is okay. I understand we need to move. When the time comes, we will move. But we have a house in the south, and it's very nice. We have everything. And okay, the house is getting better inside because we're fixing it up. And would I say it's a mansion? Hell no. But in time, it will be a lot better. The farm is coming along, so we have that land. We have that place to live if we want. We don't have to pay any rent, nothing. Now, why do I want to go and spend 30 or 40 or 50,000 baht a month and pay rent? I don't want that. I don't want to have to be paying until the day I die. I don't want that. And that's what I don't want. I don't want to have to pay a mortgage until the day I die. Now, if we have, maybe we have $100,000, I'll say. Now, we want to buy a place for 3 million baht. Okay, I understand. You pay it off, well, then you have no cash. You're cash poor. But that's better than having a payment every month for the rest of your life. You can have private health insurance. You can occasionally travel around Thailand or Southeast Asia. You can eat out at mid-range restaurants. You can even go out and have a little fun. Hit the nightlife places if that's what you want. You're going to be able to cover your visa cost. And this is kind of where you hit the sweet spot, is 2,000 and above. My mortgage here is $2,400 a month, and that's a screaming deal for a mortgage these days. Yeah. Well, Scotty don't want a mortgage. No way. I just don't want a mortgage. You know? Okay, now, anything over 140,000 baht, now you're starting to get into the range where you have plenty of free money. You know, if you're earning $6,000 a month, that's like almost 200,000 baht. That's plenty. You could get a place that's 40 or 50,000 a month. You're spending 30,000 on food. You might spend 130, 140 baht. You got 60,000 baht left over that you can either save or you can take a little and go buy something every month. You can do whatever you want. So you're living pretty stress-free. You can have staff. You can have a driver. Once you get up to above 200,000, you have international health care. You can go to luxury restaurants. You can be members of clubs. It's a stress-free and easy life if you have that much money coming in. And, you know, I keep telling my wife, you know, when you quit, I want you to have a certain amount of money so that I know that we have this much money every month coming in. You have that money. I have that money. Together we have this much money, and we have enough to where we can live very, very comfortably. You know, I mean, I'm getting older. And the thing is I definitely don't want to live here in Bangkok for the rest of my life. I don't want to do that. I'd like to live somewhere really nice where every morning I wake up and I go, yes. And I go to the beach and I go swimming. I get out, I come back, I have a nice breakfast, I relax for a little while, then I go and do a chore or something. So which lifestyle is for you? The bare minimum? Is comfortable good enough, or do you need luxury? And the most important question, which one could you sustain for 20 or 30 years? Let me know in the chat. Tell me that in the chat. All right. If you have a good pension or a good Social Security income, why worry about paying rent till the day you die? Well, why worry about paying a mortgage till the day you die? What the hell do I want to spend that much on a mortgage when I can get rent for 15%, 20% of the cost of what a mortgage costs? Why would I want to do that? Agreed on not wanting to buy a house. Like I said, I use the money, invest in a Vanguard brokerage account. Okay. Live off that and not worry about paperwork or maintenance. Well, luxury is nice. I've been from one end of the spectrum to another. And I can tell you luxury is nicer. When you have the money, it does mean less headaches, less worries. You may have some additional headaches from it, but it means less of the survival headaches. I got around 8K a month for 20 years, but I live on around 1,800. I own my own house in Thailand and a condo in Bangkok. Yeah, it's great. I'll be there soon. Well, that's what I say. When you rent, I don't have a worry. My wife said to me the other day, yeah, I may have an opportunity to go to America for 4 days in, I think she said June or something like that. I said, really? Why? Oh, we have a big meeting, an international get-together, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, well, just make sure you know I'll be going. I'll be there too, you know. She's like, okay, all right, no problem. And I'm like, you know, I know you want to live in America. She wants to live in America. And I'm like, You don't want to live in America. You don't want to live there. It's easy when you go there as a tourist and you're visiting. We go and visit my mother and father and my sister, and we have a good life. My mother takes us wherever we need to go. I don't have to do anything. She cooks us dinner. I mean, but when you're out there and you got to fend for yourself and you got to work and you're, say, 55 years old, you don't want to work. I'm like, no. We can go there and visit. We can go there for your little convention and go visit my parents, but we're not going to live here. And I tell her about, do you know how much this costs? Do you know how much that costs? Do you know how much it costs to stay in South Miami with 2 kids? Even if they're not kids anymore, they're going to have to find jobs and contribute to the family dynamic if they want to live with us, because it's so expensive. So that's what they think. Hey, listen, do me a favor. We've had almost 60 people in here. I got 23 thumbs up. I'd like to get a lot more thumbs up. I'd like to see some people subscribe. If you would like, there's a join button down below. You can hit that, become a VIP member of the channel. Or you can send a super chat. Or you can send the Cash App. Let me see here. The Cash App. Yeah. Patreon. You can get one of my books, and I do have the new book, but you can get one of my other books from Amazon. There's a link down below in the description. And thank you to all the people who have contributed not only over the last few months, but over the last few years. I got people that have been contributing to my channel for years and years, and I appreciate that, and I think you know who you are. Living in Seattle now, cost of living is out of control, stay in Thailand. Well, listen, I lived in Seattle for a brief period of time, for about a month, and I got a job, well, it's about a month and a half. I got a job, and I was making, what was I making? $15 an hour. And I thought, wow, that's pretty good. And I was renting a room. I was only paying like $200, $300 a month. And I was all paid. I paid it when I moved in. And then I found out about this job in Alaska working on a fishing boat. And the guy gave me a number. I called him up. I went in. They called me later that night. Hey, come in tomorrow morning if you want to go to Alaska. I'm like, okay. I told the people that I live with, listen, I'm sorry I got to leave you hanging, but you got my first and last month. Just keep it, and I'll see you later. I gotta get out of here. And then boom, I was on a plane to Alaska, and then a helicopter from Alaska to where the boat was. It's like the guy that comes to Thailand on holiday and thinks he can move here and continue that life. It's not sustainable. Well, I don't think most people want to live that life. I mean, I sustained it for a good solid 3-4 years where I was out partying all the time. Now, my partying tapered off because I just realized I'm not healthy. I don't feel good. And the reason I came here was to train in Muay Thai. So for the first year, all I did was train and, figure out, hey, maybe I can make some money at this. And then it was like, okay, you're going to make 2,000 baht. And I went, oh my God, I can't make any money here. What the hell is going on? 2,000 baht? And I was like, no, thank you. And I quickly learned, I didn't think I was good enough. And, that was the end of that. Oh, I finished 2 contracts. I did a 90-day contract, and it was like 78 days or something like that. And then I came back to Thailand for about 6 weeks, and I thought, this money ain't going to last forever. I got to get some more. I got to make more money. I went back again, and then that was it. Because I got unemployment from Alaska. So I got a free, it was like $1,200 a month from Alaska, and I had money coming in, and I had money saved, and so, yeah, I did too, and I did not like it, but, I mean, it sucked. It was shitty work, but, I just finished because I didn't want to have to pay, I didn't want to have to pay to go back home. I didn't want them going, you got to pay for your way back home. Sorry, you got to pay for your own ticket now. And I didn't want that because I knew it was going to cost me. Now, here's a thing that people sometimes ignore, and that is visas. Thailand doesn't care about how cheap you want to live. It doesn't care about, oh, my financial situation is not what it's supposed to be right now. You need 400,000 if you're married. You need 800,000 if you're retired, or 65,000 baht a month, which is a pain in the ass, showing that money every month. But that's what you need to get a retirement visa. So if you're depending on a weak currency, a swing in exchange rates can wreck your plans overnight. I've seen guys who thought they were fine, and then they suddenly fall short because their income might have dropped 15, 20%. And the bank doesn't care, immigration doesn't care, nobody cares. The only person who cares is you. So, and also rules change. Governments, they shift their requirements. Banks tighten up, and what worked last year may not work in the future. The one good thing that I'll say about Thailand and immigration is that they grandfather people. So if you've got a retirement visa and you had to have 200,000, maybe it's 1978, you needed to have 200,000 baht in the bank and show that you were retired. Well, if you don't let your stay of extension lapse, you always just need 200,000. You don't need to show 800,000. You show the 200,000 that you came here. Now, I have to show 800,000. Guess what? From now on, I have to show 800,000. Now, if I let my visa extension lapse, that's a different story. Now you got to start all over again, fresh. And I got a hole in my shirt. And then you have to come up with whatever it is. So for now, it's 800K, but guess what? It might go up. I suspect it will go up in another couple of years, up to 1 million baht. Now, I'm wondering, has anybody here had a visa scare where a rule changed and your income didn't meet your requirement? Let me know in the chat. And I always harken back to this story, and I think the guy was a dumbass. Because he said to me, he'd been coming into the chat, periodically, regularly. And I thought he was a little weird. And he said, they're kicking me out. Why are they kicking you out? Tell me about it. Well, I've been coming here and now they've told me to get a proper visa. I said, oh, what are you on? Tourist visa. Well, you're on a tourist visa and you're living here. You got an apartment. You live here. Of course they're going to tell you to get a proper visa. Yeah, but I got a tourist visa. That's a visa. It's proper. I go, no. To live here long term, you must have a proper visa. That means a non-immigrant B, M, an O for marriage, an O for retirement, or OA. Whatever it might be. You need to have one of those. It's 1 year, and you just extend and extend, or you can get an elite visa or whatever it is. I don't know if they had it back then. I think they did, but. And he said to me, I don't want to pay and put money in their bank. I don't want to put 800,000 in their bank. And I said, well, then what'll happen is they'll tell you, now you can't come back in. You're blacklisted for a certain period of time. No, I don't want to do that. I'll just go live somewhere else then. I go, okay, so go live somewhere else. Now, he loved it here, and he had to leave. And he thinks that the Thai government kicked him out. And I'm like, they didn't kick you out. What are you thinking? They kicked me out. They didn't kick you out. They said, Our requirements are you have a visa that's good for a month or a stay of extension that's good for a month. You can't just keep going in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, and keep coming back like there's no tomorrow, which is what people did 30 years ago. And he was pissed. I can't believe this. They're booting me out. I'm like, they're not kicking you out, man. You're an idiot. Pay the money, pay an agent, do whatever you gotta do, but that way you can stay. No, I don't want to give them the satisfaction. And I'm like, dude, they don't care if you stay or go, or they don't give a shit. That was a long time ago, but Jesus Christ. Let's see here. You did, most do. One time. Daughter working part-time at BU. I don't know what BU is. Bangkok University. 3 years of living like a tourist. Well done, Scott. I did it for about a year and then needed to find work. Making 21. Well, just because I said I lived here didn't mean that I was living as a tourist. But I did do visa runs in the very beginning. And then I got an agent to get me a long-term visa. And I was able to get, the 1-year tourist visas, and that was good for 15 months. Making $21 an hour, that's not enough for rent. Thailand only cares, it's not Bangkok University then. Only cares about your money. Been that way as long as I can remember, going back to 19. Well, I say the same thing. However, what country doesn't care about your money? Tell me that. Tell me that Portugal says you must make this much money every month. And if you go, well, I make $100 less, but I'm okay. I'll be good here. Don't worry. And they go, okay, you can come in. No, that's not what they do. It's ridiculous. They go, no, you need to meet this number. If you're in retirement mode and no wife, I strongly suggest you put $800K and don't touch it. Yeah, so I don't understand what the problem is with that. A lot of guys did that border run. They're not the sharpest tool. I didn't have the scare, but FD up, screwed up my 800,000 due to miscalculation. My account dropped to 799, 800 for a day. I had to leave Thailand and start the process all over again. We don't want his kind here anyway. Yeah, I do just whatever immigration requires to live in Thailand. Exactly. You don't barter with them. You don't argue with them. You don't get smart with them. You just say, okay, is this what you need? Yes. Okay, I'll get it for you. Okay, I have that for you. That's all you do. That's how you open your mouth and speak. If you're not saying something nice to them, yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. I have that, sir. Ma'am, I have that paper. Here you go. That's all you say. You don't say anything else. U.S. doesn't care depending on who's in office. We let people in and pay for them for a couple years. Yeah. All right, so the next section we're going to talk about is the healthcare, of course, the insurance. And Thailand has some great private hospitals, but they're not free. Listen, I can tell you, Jim, if you tried that here in Bangkok, they don't want to go out with you. And they're not going to run into you while you're going out to dinner. The chances are very slim you're going to run into them. They don't want you to buy anything for them. Not here in Bangkok. I dare say not in Pattaya, many places. They're not going to, that's not how it is. It's not like out in a village. It's much different. I wouldn't even try that, to be honest. Outpatient visits can be quite affordable, but surgeries or major treatments, well, that's when you get stung. And heart surgery, cancer treatment, long hospital stays, they can cost you hundreds of thousands of baht. And if you don't have insurance, then you got to pay cash. Like I've said it before, I was in the hospital. We paid $90,000 up front, and then they were like, "We want more." Like this is a couple days later. I had to pay $130,000 more, and I was like, "What the?" And I was like, "You money-hungry bastards." You know, I mean, I'm in there, I'm like drugged up, and I just was in a piss poor mood. I mean, I was like, but then they start messing with me, and I'm like, I want to rip your throat out. Because I don't want to be messed with when, you know, I'm all drugged up, I'm in pain. Yeah, so, you know, some expats, they have to go back home, or they get wiped out by a single health crisis, and sometimes it's not that much. Oh, I got to pay $300,000, I better get out of here because I can't pay it. You know, insurance helps, but the premiums go up once you're over 65. I am not looking forward to that. And at 70, some insurance won't take you at all. And that's why you got to have some cash stashed. Planning ahead is essential. Yeah, cataracts, and I'm not looking forward to that. I may need that. And skipping insurance is kind of like gambling, which is why I don't relinquish the insurance that I have now. At retirement age, the odds are stacked against you. And the only thing I can say is, if you're a fat fuck, and I mean, you know, you're like 250 and you should be about, you know, 200, and you need to lose 50 or 60 pounds, you better start losing it. Get your ass in shape. Oh yeah, hearing aids are I mean, they're like, they can be up to $10,000, $10,000. If you get one for less than that, it's either not any good or you're stealing it. Do you think that expats should always carry private health insurance? If you think so, type yes in the chat. And if you have insurance, how much are you paying every year? Listen, we used to pay about 3,800 baht a month. That was for me, Alex, and Nicholas. Now we pay about almost 8,000 baht a month because all of us are getting older. My rate has gone up quite a bit. It's probably doubled. So now we're paying 8,000 baht, which is crazy. And that's a good rate, really. And Alex has a secondary insurance. So, you know, he's in pretty good shape. Now, let me see here. A lot of doctors in the top hospitals do part-time work at government hospitals, find where they work and save a ton of money. Hearing aids are expensive. Some may find this hard to believe, but my local government hospital is much more efficient than anything I experienced back home. I don't find that hard to believe at all. Not at all. I guess unless you're a multi-millionaire, you know, if you've got 4 million baht sitting in the bank, dedicated for that health insurance, then I would say, okay, you probably don't need to have health insurance. But other than that, yeah, you better get health insurance before you're 65, because after, they're not going to give it to you. It's going to be hard, and it's going to be expensive. Too expensive. Okay, so everyone asked, well, like you guys were doing in the beginning, where else should we live? Uruguay? Argentina? I'll pass on those. Costa Rica? Pass. What about Vietnam? Pass. Ecuador? Maybe. Cambodia? Pass. How about the Philippines? Definitely pass. What about Mexico or Portugal? Pass on Mexico. And, you know, now Portugal is one of, if not the top destination for expats. And I've gotten to the point now where now I'm almost soured on Portugal because there's so many foreigners going there. And I don't know if I want to live in that. What is FTW? I think they like them better than the last one. What's FTW? Vietnam FTW. I don't know what that means. For the win. No. Vietnam is a no-go, man. I'm sorry. First of all, it's a communist country. Second of all, if you want to live in Ho Chi Minh or Hanoi, they're fucking chaotic as hell. They're noisy as hell. I wouldn't want to live in either of those places. Now, if you want to live Da Nang or somewhere else, you got to think about the visa system they have. You're not safe there, man. What are you gonna do? Oh, I gotta stay here for 3 months and go out of the country, or I gotta stay here for 3 months. Oh God. And Da Nang, I wouldn't stay there. I wouldn't. Da Nang is it's nice. It was nice to visit there, but I don't want to live there. Hoi An was nice, and maybe I could live in Hoi An. But really, the whole government and the way things are, and I just don't particularly know. Nah, I'm more comfortable here, and I would be much happier here than there. The insurance provider gave me physical. I was 108. You're too fat. Extra cost. Must be 100 kilos. I dropped to 8 kilos. No adjustment. Well, there you go. I have never fit into any of those weight brackets that they give you. I've always been at the upper end. And not because I was fat, because I'm big. I mean, I'm muscular. And, I was 25 years old, and I was about 68, 70 kilos, and I was all muscle. I was ripped. And they told me, oh, you're a little bit big. And I'm like, look at me. I got like 6% body fat. What are you telling me? I'm just like, fuck out of here. Any advice for someone turning 49 years old in a few weeks who wants to retire here as fast as possible? Yeah, figure out how to stay for the next year. Get an education visa. Stay for a tourist visa or a visa exempt for 3 months. See if you can stay for another 3 months. That's 6 months. Get an education visa, do that for 6 months. Boom, you're 50. Been to Cambodia, Japan, Italy, and Vietnam. Love Vietnam. I've been to all those places and more. Myanmar, Laos, Indonesia, Malaysia. I liked Indonesia a lot, but I'm always around the Christians, not the Muslims. But I was in an area in Borneo, Indonesian Borneo, and it was nothing but Muslims in the whole place, and we were staying in one of their hotels. They were fantastic to us. They were the best, man. Yeah, I don't know about Japan. Japan just because of, Vietnam border run every 90 days. Yeah, I mean, what's the deal with that? I like Laos, but I don't like it nearly as much as, I don't like it as much as Cambodia, and I don't like it nearly as much as Thailand. I mean, they need to come a lot farther. I mean, it's cheap. It's a relatively inexpensive place. So if you're, a cheapskater, you got no money, okay, I understand. But would I want to live there? No way in hell. If I'm living in Laos, I better be married. Well, never live in India. I'm sorry. Not going to happen. I lived in Bali for about 2 years. It was great. Yeah, I wouldn't live in Bali. I would find another area to live that would be. Listen, violent crime in Laos is very, very rare. It's the same as in Thailand. You get the petty theft, you get pickpockets and bag snatching, maybe some stealing in in the cheap guest house and stuff like that. But now, what you should watch out for in Laos is drinking contaminated liquor. They got the methanol. They use that methanol, and then people drink it and they die. That's happened a number of times. And depends on where you are. But other than that, it's a fairly safe place. Great commentary on politics lately. Okay. In the big city, the only big city. It's fairly safe, man. I don't know what you're talking about. India in the mountains wouldn't be bad, but no, I don't think so. I don't know if they do or not. They didn't used to in Vietnam. A Laos woman can marry a foreigner, and so can a Vietnamese woman. Laos good if you want a slower pace. Vientiane has some great restaurants. Outside the city is extremely rural. I could handle it. My wife couldn't. Yeah, I mean, I like some of it, but it's kind of like Myanmar. Oh my God, they got a guy here. He's about 7 feet tall. He works here, and it's like, oh, what do they put a guy here for? Why do they have a male barista? Listen, I've eaten some meals in Laos, and I can tell you that the food in Laos, I was in Vientiane, and I ate in a pizza place. It was the worst fucking pizza I've ever eaten in my life. But that doesn't mean that they're all bad. It just means that that particular place was not very good. But most of the food that I ate was not very good there. And in this last trip, when I ate food there, it was kind of middle of the road. It wasn't great and it wasn't bad. Anyway, let me continue. Now the alternatives, obviously Vietnam may be cheaper than Thailand in some ways and great food, but the visas are problematic. And infrastructure is piss poor. Let's see here. I thought with Cambodians it was 50. And they did that because they didn't want old men taking advantage. There is no legal, no. No, I thought it was 50. I thought they did that temporarily. In 2011, Cambodian government introduced regulations stating that foreign men over 50 could not marry Cambodian women, along with an income requirement of $2,500 a month. The stated aim was cracking down on human trafficking and sham marriages. In 2018, those age and income restrictions have been removed. There is no age restriction on foreign men marrying Cambodian women. So there was one, and I was right. I thought there was, but there isn't anymore. The coffee and bread. Jono makes a good pizza. In Vietnam, you need to accept traveling out of the country every 3 months. Thankfully, you can eat good Vietnamese food in Bangkok. Still like Thai food better. Yeah, I thought, Vietnamese food rivals Thai food. But, I don't know, they're pretty close. I mean, maybe a certain Vietnamese meal is better than a certain Thai meal. Maybe a Thai meal is better than a Vietnamese meal. I'd rather go to a Thai restaurant than a Vietnamese restaurant just because I know most of the time what to order, exactly what to get. I know in Vietnamese restaurants as well, but more so in Thailand. And to be honest, I mean, I like Thai food, but I don't eat much of it anymore because a lot of it is not healthy. A lot of it is slathered in sugar, slathered in sauces, in MSG, and all kinds of things. I just don't want to eat the stuff anymore. I like what I get from the grocery. I buy what I want from... Listen, I had a can of mackerel last night with my salmon. I had a piece of salmon and some mackerel in olive oil. Oh my God, I love that stuff. I don't know what it is. I just love that mackerel. Then I had Greek yogurt on the side and some zucchini. Sweet yacht. So good. All right, so Ecuador offers low living costs in U.S. dollars. It's been in U.S. dollars since 2000, year 2000. A mild climate from the Andes to the coast, some nice beaches, and an easy-to-obtain pensioner visa that appeals to long-term expats. Cambodia is even more relaxed on visas and has a thriving expat scene in Phnom Penh and Siem Reap. That's why I don't want to go there. I don't want to go to where there is a thriving expat scene. Stays cheap while letting you own property through straightforward structures. Why do I want to go to Cambodia and hang out with a bunch of foreigners? If I have 2 or 3 friends, that's enough. I don't need to have, a large circle of friends. I don't. In the Philippines, similar cost, much easier visas, and English is a big plus, but healthcare and safety are weaker. The Philippines can be a bit dangerous depending on where you are. All right, Portugal and Mexico are more expensive, but they have better Western systems and better consumer protection. And Mexico, at least, is closer for, say, Americans. And Portugal is fairly close for Americans and also for Europeans. It's very, very close. But Thailand still leads on lifestyle balance, the affordable healthcare, developed infrastructure, vibrant expat communities, which I'm not a part of, and plenty of choices from the beach to the city to the mountains. If Thailand were not an option for you, where would you go? Would you go to Vietnam? Would you go to Ecuador? Would you go to the Philippines? Would you go to Portugal? Would you go to Mexico? Where would you go? Would you go to Vietnam? What is your pick as the second place? Where would you go? That's what we need to know. Apples and oranges. I prefer Thai food, but some days this. Been eating canned mackerel my whole life. Got that from my Korean mom, but I eat it with rice. I don't eat it with rice. I don't eat rice. I don't eat starch. I don't eat potatoes now. I don't eat rice. I don't eat bread. If I eat bread, I have one piece in the morning, and I usually don't eat in the morning. I eat maybe once a week. I haven't had breakfast in about a week. And maybe I'll have a piece of bread with it. The kids are eating all my bread now. All I need is a cool buzz and some tasty waves. Yes, indeed. All right, well, you know what? Maybe I need to cut this video short. What do I have left here? Not a one super chat today. I think I've made like $3 in the last 6 streams. I haven't made any super chats, which doesn't usually bother me, but now I'm like, wait a minute, there's a trend here. I make $2 in like 5 or 6 streams. It's just not that much. Okay, so when reality really sets in, you need more money. You need a plan. You need more money than you might think, and you need a plan. Always multiple income streams. Don't rely on just one pension. Have investments, side income, have a backup. Keep your funds split between Thailand and abroad, which is what I do now. Don't tie everything up here in Thailand, because I just heard a guy who is fairly popular in the expat scene who said, "Oh, yeah, they locked my account now. They need to see my mobile phone number and make sure that it's the same." And I'm like, well, if they do that for me, it'll take me about a minute. I mean, really. I go up to the AIS. They have a little VIP section. I go in there, tell them I need proof that it's my phone number. Okay. Then I just walk right over to the bank. It's about a 30-second walk. Here you go. Here you are. So maybe within an hour it's done. But nothing's happened so far. Budget for enjoyment. Retirement is not about surviving and scraping by. If you cut out all the fun and all you do is burn out. And you know what? Don't carry debt. Don't try to live beyond your means. It's very, very simple. If you're making $3,000, don't spend $3,500. It's simple. Don't live beyond your means. And Thailand is full of temptation, nightlife, gambling, plenty of toys. It will eat you alive. It'll chew you up and spit you out if you're not disciplined. So what is one thing you never cut from your budget, no matter how tight? Coffee, travel, gym, women, nightlife? Put your answer in the chat. I mean, listen, I'm griping about coffee because I'm running out of coffee. I had 3 different coffees. And now I've got one, and I'll be done in a day or 2. So that's why I said I want this bag of coffee before they run out. Thailand is no longer the rock bottom cheap paradise that people imagine. Those days are long gone, but it is still one of the best places, and I say this all the time, in the world to retire. It is one of the best places in the world. And guess what? I put up a video, and not many people watched it compared to the other videos about how Thailand is still the best place to stay in Southeast Asia. I think it is. I think it's better than Malaysia. It's better than Cambodia. It's better than Vietnam. And that's a video that I think more people should watch and listen. Don't believe all the bullshit. I get a lot of bullshit posts where people are going, "Oh my God, they locked my account. I had $100,000 in it. And they locked my account for no reason, and now they won't release the funds." And I go, "What visa are you on?" Then they never answer. Or, "What visa are you on?" "Oh, I don't have a visa. I'm on a visa exemption." Well, then how'd you have a bank account? Well, why do you need a bank account? "Oh, well, why'd you put so much money in the bank account when you're a tourist?" "Oh, so I never have to transfer money over when I'm here." And, it's all bullshit. The men who thrive here, that's like men like me, we have a plan. We have goals. We have a steady income. We have insurance. We have a realistic budget. I don't gamble with my health. I don't ignore the visa rules. I don't overspend. and I am disciplined. And I was thinking to myself, why can I be disciplined with working out? Why can I be disciplined before working out? Why can I be disciplined before if I want to make weight? But now I'm like, I don't want to do that. And I thought, there's no just because you're older doesn't mean you don't have to have discipline. So that's why I have a lot of discipline now. The men who fail believe the hype. They come with too little money. Oh, I'm not going to need that because I can get an apartment there for $200 a month. Yeah, well, $2,000, that means your money only goes for 10 months, and that's not buying any food or paying any bills or whatever. And they think nothing's going to go wrong. They ignore the visa problems. They skip their insurance. They blow their money on bad habits. And women is a bad habit. You shouldn't be pissing all your money away on women. That's like stupid people do that. Stupid people who think with the little head, not the big head. And then they wake up and they're broke and desperate. They're wondering, how did I get into this predicament? Bunch of whiners. Thailand doesn't care. The country will reward you if you're responsible, and it will punish you if you are not. And that is the brutal truth. So can you afford to retire to Thailand? That's really up to you and your situation, and if you've got the money and the discipline and the mindset. Thailand can give you a much better life than many places, and it might give you a better life than what you have back home. I mean, that's just the simple truth. Somebody with $1,500 or $2,000 and their wife is making $1,500 and they live in New Jersey, and they're spending every penny just to live. Well, guess what? Sell it all, give it all away, and get on over. And you can go wherever you want to go. Go somewhere else where you got a better standard of living for the money. Because you don't have to live in the United States. Not that I don't like the United States. It's not that. I'm just saying, for the money, you can get a better value in a lot of other places. Listen, if you need a guide, if you need something to help you, everything from visas to banking to healthcare to avoiding scams, grab my book, The Expat Survival Guide 2025, Living Smart in Thailand. I wrote it for people, many who are just like you. They want to thrive. They don't want to struggle. The link is down in the description. It's up above in the chat. And just so you know, it takes YouTube a few hours, maybe even 6 to 8 hours, for them to upload the video in the live stream fully, and for the chat to be available. It takes that long. I don't know why, but it does take them long to do that. Now let me see something here. I want to make sure. Yes, okay. Good deal. All right, so where am I? If not Thailand, I really don't know. Korean food is quite healthy. I don't like much Korean food. I like a little. I like kimchi. I like that. Southeast Asia, Malaysia, then probably Cambodia if short on money. If not Thailand, maybe stay in the U.S., go live somewhere like Montana, Wyoming, Dakotas, maybe become a mountain man. Yeah, I've thought about that. I thought about Alaska, but it's too expensive. Even with them giving you money, it's too expensive. Healthcare, women. If they freeze your account, it's still your money. They're not stealing it. No, you go in and you take care of business. If tied on money, I would not be able to cut my gym membership. I'm not in those places, and it's not expensive here where I am in the Midwest. Then why do you want to retire to Thailand? Don't gamble with your health. If you don't have health, you don't have shit. Well, what people don't realize is that if you're not healthy, no matter what your age, you don't really have a life, because you're constantly battling your health just to try to stay above water. you shouldn't have to do that. Okay? I mean, it's just, it's not something you should compromise on. And, my buddy told me, the only thing you got to think about right now is your health. You just need to remain healthy and do what you have to do to stay fit. And I thought about that, and I thought, my mother used to tell me that. But I was like, no, I'm going to be a great tennis player. Well, then I got the shit kicked out of me, and I went, well, I guess I'm not that great. And then it was, I'm going to be a fighter. She was like, I don't want you training at that gym. No way. And I was like, well, I'll do it when I'm out of the house. And I started training, and I thought, well, I'm not going to be the best fighter either. I was very fit. I was in good shape. She goes, why don't you just concentrate on being healthy? And long term, that is exactly the path that I should be and I should have taken before. I don't have to be the very best. You don't have to think you're going to be the best. You're not going to be the most fit. But I will say this. Alex is very fit. Very, very fit. He's in good shape. You can see just by, he wears a nice shirt and pants to go to work, and he looks good. He's in good shape now, and I'm proud of that. I already talked about that, yes. Oh, I was a massive tennis player. In fact, I went to a wedding in Thailand with my boxing team, and we all went out to the tennis courts, and I was like, man, and I hadn't played in years, and I was like, I hope I can still do pretty good, and there were 3 other guys, and I beat the shit out of all of them. I couldn't believe it. I was like, but it was getting hard because my hip, that's right before I needed my hip replacement. My hip was in bad shape. And you haven't served in a couple of decades. It's kind of hard to, do everything perfect, but I did well enough to beat them. Any shopping mall. Thailand is not like a backwards country where you can't find anything. Anywhere that has Levi's or Lee jeans or something like that, and most of the malls have it. Most of the malls have this stuff. Now I haven't bought jeans in about 12 years, 15 years. I got 5 or 6 pairs of jeans. I just don't wear them. I haven't worn them. I wear shorts most of the time. Or I've been too fat and they didn't fit me. Now I fit in all of them. And so that's good. I don't sweat at all. Well, I don't know if there's more malls than in America, but I will say that in a concentrated area, and Thailand is only the size of Texas, there's a lot of malls. And you don't have to worry about, can I find some jeans, or can I find, oh, she's got a long lens on that thing. Wow. What are they doing here? Let me see what she's got here. Oh, come on, this way. No, not that way, this way. I want to see the camera she's got. It looks like a Canon with a 70 to 210, I think. 70 to 200. I'm sitting in a mall right now and I get sick of coming to this mall. The only reason I'm here is because it's comfortable where I am. And then I can walk right over. It's a 2-minute walk, and I go get my groceries almost every day. I got to get groceries today. Just a few. Onions, ham, cheese for the kids. I don't eat any of that shit. The onions, I'll eat those, but what are you laughing about? You have no idea, man. Really, you have absolutely no clue. You are so out there if you think people don't wear jeans here. My God. Dude, I hate to tell you, you got your head up your ass if you think people... Here's a lady right now, she's walking, she's got a pair of jeans on. And I will show you her. wearing jeans. I got jeans on, and I am not sweating at all. I haven't, listen, I don't know if I got used to it or I've learned how to pace myself or I'm moving at a slower pace or whatever it is. I have not sweat profusely. The only time I've sweat profusely is when I went for walks, which I don't stream and I don't film. I went to walks when I went down to the park and I walked around the park or something, just walked around the neighborhood for a while. And I'm usually walking for about an hour, hour and a half. I've sweat then, but like every day when I go out and I do shit or I go on the Sky Train or anything like that, I don't sweat at all anymore. Yeah, I don't. I used to. I admit that. I used to sweat, and if I didn't have a little pad back there, like to sop up the sweat, you'd right down the ass crack. There'd be a sweat line. You know, I just don't get that anymore. I don't know why. I don't get the. You don't have to go to Robinson's. I mean, you know, you can if you want, but they got jeans everywhere. They got a dedicated Levi's store in this mall. I mean, they got every kind of Levi's you want. They got 501s, 510s, 511s, 520, 5,900. They got whatever you want. So he hasn't asked any more questions since he asked that one question. And for T-shirts, I got this at H&M. And but most of my T-shirts now I get from Uniqlo. And the reason I like this and I like that one is the ones that I get from Uniqlo is because they don't have a logo on them. I don't want a logo. I don't want to have a Nike on my shirt. I don't want to have any of that shit. Wait a minute, I'm missing out here. I'm living in the U.S. and plan to move out soon. With the grace of God, I should depart before December. It's so hard to have a good quality of life in the U.S. unless you're a high income. Or if you're living somewhere that isn't, you don't need high income to live. I don't know McJeans for me, man. I don't wear those I don't wear those jeans. Watch thousands of videos of people, even at night on Walking Street, no one is ever wearing jeans. Maybe if you're going to mostly be indoors, then people can wear jeans. That's such bullshit, dude. I mean, really. It depends. If it's hot out, now why would I wear a pair of jeans? That's just foolish. But like today, it's warm out, and I'll walk around a little bit. I'll be walking around over at Happy Land. I don't sweat one bit. I'm in the mall. It's nice and cool. I'm not going to sweat in here. So maybe if they're indoor, they're going to wear more jeans. Maybe if they're outdoor, I'm looking here. Well, these guys, they're not jeans. Well, this is a jean. It's a black pair of jeans. You got 3-4 guys with long pants on. Listen, guys here, they'll wear long sleeve shirts and it's 80 degrees out. And they don't sweat. You know, that's another thing. So, you know, you want some insane clowns on your shirt? What does that mean? Oh my God. Robert, just stay in Montana, okay? Or wherever the fuck you are. Montana, I think you're in Montana. Just live your life there. It's a good life for you. Because here, things are not like you think. Here goes another guy. He's wearing a pair of jeans. Black jeans. He's wearing black jeans. There's a girl. She's wearing long pants. You know. All right, well, wherever you are. Now, this is a cotton blend. And, you know, yeah, there are anti-sweat shirts and stuff like that. I don't tend to get them but I don't get, usually I don't get full on cotton shirts because, yeah, they can be very hot, but it depends on the shirt. Yeah, I thought you said Montana. That's what I thought you said, so whatever. Doesn't matter. Okay, remember to smash the like button, please. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and hit the notification bell. If you'd like to show your support, you can do so by hitting the join button down below. For as little as $1.99, you can become a member of the channel. Also, if you want to send me a comment or a letter or a question, don't send me a letter. Send me like 1 or 2 sentences. Or you need a consultation, just email anamericaninbangkok@gmail.com. Okay, wherever you are, if they send an essay, I'll just delete it. I'm not going to read it. I don't want to read an essay. Usually a paragraph is plenty. I got a girl. She's 21. She says she loves me. I met her 3 days ago. Do you think it's legitimate? No, I don't. Southern Indiana. Okay. I forgot, man. Sorry. I thought it was Montana. Nothing wrong with Montana. Yeah, I mean, listen. I don't know exactly what this shirt is, but I think it's you know, it's polyester, cotton, and something else. Now I have a heavy shirt, and it's not made of 100% cotton, and I have a lot of collared shirts, and they're not made of just cotton. And I'm going to be buying some long sleeve shirts and some short sleeve shirts. And, you know, I'll wear them when I think it's appropriate. If I sweat, I sweat. You know, what are you going to do? I'm not worried about it. All my Uber drivers in Pakistan and Pittsburgh were from Uzbekistan. Okay, that's nice. You don't believe in love at first sight? Oh yeah, it can happen. Would I gamble on it? No, not at all. No, thank you. Alrighty. Well, I will not be streaming on Sunday. Sunday is the Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Crawford fight, and I want to watch it. Relax. I wake up, turn on the TV, turn on Netflix, and I watch the fight. And I'm looking forward to it. I think Canelo is going to pull it out. I think he's going to win. I think he's just a little too big and too strong. And yeah, so I'm going for Alvarez. I'll be surprised if Crawford like knocks him out. I would be very, very surprised. No, it's not allowed, but you can send it by DHL or FedEx or UPS. But they're not sending mail still. But they're both at they're in their prime. I mean, Canelo may be starting to go down a little bit, but whatever. It's a good fight. And there's another couple of fighters, Calum Walsh against Fernando Vargas Jr. And they're both undefeated, so that should be good. And then I think there's a couple of heavyweights, just like 2 heavyweight fights. So I'm looking forward to watching the card. And I won't be streaming on Sunday. I'll be streaming on Monday, and then if I'm able to stream, I'll stream on next Friday, not on Thursday. So, yeah, that's how it's gonna happen. Yeah, it's a good fight for sure, and I'm looking forward to it. Why can't you watch it live? Just watch it on Netflix. Well, that's an exhibition. That's all that is. I don't care about that fight. No, it's not pay-per-view. It's on Netflix. That fight is on Netflix, man. Come on, this is the new era. No, Tyson and Mayweather. Okay, that is an exhibition. I don't care what they say. There's no way that Mayweather is going to fight Tyson and it's a real fight. But Canelo Alvarez and Crawford is as real as it gets, and that's on Netflix. Netflix is how much here? Well, we pay for 2 units. I think it's $2.99 for one and $3.49 for 2. I pay $3.49. It's about $11. Not even $11. Spotify is dirt cheap also. Spotify is about $7, $7.50, and it just went up in price. But I know in the United States, I think it's more. It's like $19.99 for the family package, so it's crazy. Anyway, time for me to go. Go, go, go. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it. I don't pay for YouTube Premium. I don't watch enough YouTube to merit me paying $10 a month. I don't want to pay the $10. I don't want little payments all the time. And when I stop doing YouTube, many of those little payments will stop. See you later, Jim. You take it easy now. You happen to have an opinion on Pacific Cross healthcare insurance? Yeah, it's okay. Depending on what plan you get on, there's Pacific Cross, there's Pacific Prime, there's Aetna, there's Cigna, there's William Russell International, there's all kinds. I don't even really bother with insurance figuring things out for people now because it's so dependent on you. It's really a people specific. You know, if you're 28 but you got a lot of pre-existing conditions, well then you're going to pay more. If you have no pre-existence, you're going to pay less. I mean, you know, it's very simple. Anyway, that's all I have. I will talk to you all later. Choke D, Leo Jerk and Ma. I'm Scott. I'm an American in Bangkok. See ya.